What's up? What's up? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Local Boy Podcast. Here we have a real conversation, and we talk about life, relationship, and today episode is gonna be real different because this is a real life story we're talking about right here. It's different, and you really have to stay tuned on this one. Don't forget, you have to subscribe, like, and share. You know what we do right here, Local Boy Family. And today we have a guest you would love to meet. She have a real different story. That's why it's special today. So when I say today is gonna be different, it's a different episode entirely. So stay tuned and let's go into this. So I have to welcome her name is Miss Jackie. So Miss Jackie, welcome to Local Boy Podcast.
Thank you.
This is have you at the Local Boy family. So how's your day?
My day is well.
Okay, I'm glad. So first we're really gonna take it slow, guys. I like taking this real slow so you guys can, enjoy the story and stay logged in with us. Okay. So I don't know where to make start from. So actually, let's say I've seen a couple of your stories on Facebook and your post. It's really amazing knowing somebody like you, beautiful young. I'm gonna say young lady because I guess it's not more. First of all, oh my man. So introduce yourself to the family. So I believe they love to know you, love to meet you, and love to know the person you are. So introduce yourself. They're listening.
Okay. I'm Jacqueline Henry. I usually go by Jackie, prefer Jackie. I just love to talk on my Facebook. Content is about my dear future husband. So I like to just point out some things. I've been married 3 times, divorced 3 times. And I've learned a lot of things that I believe is going to really equip me to be that next wife. So I'm waiting for my future husband.
Okay, so do you want to share okay, let's keep the part for now. So married three times. That's I know people are gonna be like, that's a lot, So and they will be like, they want to know why 3 different marriages and now you back to a single life again. So yeah, that's why I say it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a really interesting story because I believe a lot of people are gonna be like, wow, 3 marriages. So people, second marriage, some people already gave up on it, like, oh no, I'm not interested in getting married no more. So 3 different marriages. So people want to know, well, how did it go? Okay, we're gonna start from the beginning. Let's take it back to the days. How it all started. How you found your first love. How was the journey? So let's start with your first marriage. How did you begin?
Okay, just to clear it out. I'll be 63 next month, so I got some time going. My first husband, I met him in college.
Okay.
And he was the love of my life, and we ended up breaking up. I moved to Dallas, and then he moved to Dallas as well. So it was to the point where my family, we were living together. And my family was like, you guys are living in sin. And you need to get married. You need to this, you need to that. So we ended up getting married. When we were married 2 years, I had our daughter. And things just wasn't going right. We stayed married maybe about 7-8 years, I'm not for sure. But we were just on different levels, I guess. I mean, I believe that we cared about each other, but both of us had things that were in our past. I don't want to say past childhood issues or whatever, that we didn't address then. And then we had a little baby that we were trying to raise, and both of us are really kids at heart because I think I was 24 and he was 25. And we got married at 21. So you got that factor of getting married very young. And we got divorced.
So if I may take you back, was your first marriage, what year was that? Was it in the 90s? No, we love to know
It
because
was in the 80s.
80s. Oh, okay.
It was in the 80s. Because my daughter was born in 87 and we got married in 85.
Oh, so was it your parents that talked you into getting married at that stage, or
Yes.
you were already ready for the marriage?
I really wasn't ready.
Oh, so it was your parents.
Yes.
Okay, they talked you into.
Yes, they say you living in sin. And had I known what I know now, sin is sin. And the way you pointing the fingers, sin is just sin. So if you sinning and it's just not being married and living together and not being married, still sin. So, yeah, I grew up Baptist, and
Okay, so when you guys were dating, high school, old school days, because 80s, that's what So, but when you got, I was like the date was like back then.
then it was the same as it is today. He played football, and I went to one school, he went to another school, and I would go, and he would come and meet, and it was just your normal life. And then when I moved to Dallas, he was from in Shreveport. Yeah, I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. So he moved to Dallas where I was, and started working. I was working, and it was just that fact. And I had one person ask me, did he get down on his knees? And I'm like, no.
Oh, so it did.
So we just got married, right? He just planned to married,
Okay. So how did that? Well, okay, so because you guys did talk about the differences you got at earlier, so what was that? What leads to your earlier divorce?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you learn from that man?
I learned that you really, really have to know the person. You have to be their friend, and really their best friend.
Yeah, but you guys were, like you said, you guys were childhood friends, college. You went to the same school, so I believe you guys were friends.
The difference.
So what was the difference then?
It's a different because when you're friends, friends fall out, may fall back in.
Yeah,
You
fight.
Yeah. You might not talk to them for a week or whatever. But you're being married, you're living in the same house, and I think when people get married, they put labels on what a wife should do and what a husband should do, instead of still being the friend. That's my best friend. So not so much as that's my husband. Or that's my wife. And the husband's supposed to empty trash. The wife's supposed to cook and clean. So you put labels and titles and descriptions, job descriptions, really.
But there's no such thing like that, because it's like marriage. When you guys feel married, so it's still the same thing like when you guys are boyfriends and girlfriend, alright? So it's the same. I think it's kind of the same. You respect him as a boyfriend. So now when you guys got married, it should be more respectful. Now this is my husband.
It should be.
Yeah.
I know people who lived together 20 years and got married and they got divorced.
So that's the thing. So that means, okay, we'll get into that. So okay, moving on from after you. So how did the whole marriage situation end of the first step? So after you guys talk about the issues. So who brought up the okay, I'm tired, I'm fed up, I need to move on with my life?
Because we are friends now. I just really don't want to talk about all of that because we are friends.
Oh, okay.
We have a child, we have grandchildren.
Oh, okay.
So, we both could have done better. I think just the age. And at that point, I had a carpal tunnel, tennis elbow, I had surgery. I wasn't working. So it was a number of things that we just didn't get along. It was anger stuff. So I just
So who was more angry, you or him? Who?
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, I say it was him. He was more angry. Like that.
Okay, so it was more like the anger time. But were you that calm? Did you try to talk things out during the time? Were you?
I think my anger turned to more than what his was. It didn't.
Yeah, that means yes.
I was done.
There was always something that triggers.
Yeah, I was gone.
Okay, you were ready to. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So what? So we move into a second chapter right now.
Yes.
So, other learned from your first marriage in the 80s. I don't know what year the first one. No, what is that?
And I don't know what year the second was. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. So, how did the first one begin then?
The first one?
Yeah.
It started off. We were okay. We were okay. We were.
So, the second one, did you knowing during the time you were married or?
No, it was years. I think my daughter was maybe 11, and when I met the first, she was 2.
Okay.
No, she was 5. Yeah, she was 5. So, or either she was born on 5 or she was 5 on the first. And so the second marriage, she was probably about 10 or 11.
Well, before you got into it.
My stepchild. Oh, yes.
So your second relationship, what the man, was he also having kids?
He had one daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was my baby. She had her own room. It's like she lived there with us. He's very, very sweet. But I take a lot of hits for that because I was a ship manager at the casino, and I put my life into work. And at some point, I think I excluded him, and then we had different shifts. He worked first shift, I worked second shift. So it was a number of things, but he was a good daddy to my daughter. He really was. He was a good daddy, and she talks about him all the time. Not that her father wasn't doing, but sometimes you get into a blended family and it just doesn't work. Somebody either the child don't like the father or the stepfather don't like the child. Yeah, but they had a real relationship. They really did.
Okay. So you guys started real cool. It was.
Yeah.
So this was like, this was my puppet, the man I've been seeing for so many years, and everything was working real good. So what was the point you guys started having this misunderstanding? Like, what was that time that your red flag started?
8 years again, I got married again too because I was living in sin.
No, I saw that. That's what's up.
So I had to retract, go back. So
because we worked on different shifts, and I was driven to succeed. Yeah, my job was very, very stressful, and I think that on my part, I can't say that's the baby facts. I can't say that it was him, but we were on 2 different shifts, so I guess the communication and the and towards the end, he said, "I want to have a son." I was not having any more children.
Oh.
I know I was past. I told myself that it was like I passed 35. I was 9 kids.
So that was your deal. We're talking about your second.
we're talking about the second, right?
So your second husband wanted a son, but you were not ready for that. Okay, well, he was ready to have a child,
Right.
and you guys are having some miscommunication already.
Right.
So where did you? Was it because of your shifts?
I'm not even sure.
So you didn't know when the miscommunication started. So was there any sign of a red flag or anything?
Well, I couldn't figure out what was going on. I know.
So who was more busy, you or him?
I believe I was. I was more busy. Cause like I worked and then I slept. And we had a date. I had planned a day, a calendar date for us to be intimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who was more of the man and the woman?
I mean, he was,
Did you let him take in charge or you wanted to be?
well, being that you do know me, I'm the type of person that makes you take charge if you see. So if I have to ask through everything or if I have to make all the decisions, something simple as where we're going to go eat or what we want to do, if I got to make all those answer all those questions or make all those arrangements, I just feel like I may as well make the rest of it.
No, but I don't know. You know, back in your days and what happened currently right now, it's like history is repeating itself. That's what I'm thinking. These days, women really don't like men make a decision for them, which we all know. Sometimes women say, "Oh, be the man, be the man." But when the man start being the man, you guys don't like it. Women don't like it.
Until you
Oh, you control too much. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to put on this dress. Don't tell me how to drink my water. Don't tell me go wash these dishes. Don't tell me this. So
it depends on what you're saying.
okay.
And you can't expect a woman to, the Bible talks about, oh God, the Bible talks about this, you're the head of the household, yes, submission and all of that thing. So I believe that I would not have a problem submitting to a man that loves the Lord.
Okay.
Because if he loves the Lord, he's going to treat me the way I need you to. He's not going to say, well, don't wear that dress. Or don't do this. Because submission is not control.
Yeah, but I'm saying some people really does not take what's like you're trying to be nice, you're trying to be cool, you're saying it like this. That's what I'm asking. Okay, during this time when your second marriage, during this time, what was the relationship between you and God, and how do you manage? Oh, I mainly did no cars.
I did. That's the thing why I got married, because I felt real guilty of living in sin, is what they said.
Okay.
And I got married. So we had a very big, huge wedding. It was so beautiful.
Which is the second?
The second one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so
The first one was not,
it was the big one. Yeah.
but the second one was a good.
It was a big, beautiful wedding. People wanted to be in the wedding, and it was nice. And then we went on like the honeymoon, on a cruise after wedding and all that. So it was what I would have wanted, like a dream wedding. It was. But we still had those issues with my childhood issues and his childhood issues. We still had that.
So it's like something passed from the old relationship and came to the.
Yeah, but not really past relationships. Just being a kid. So just seeing what your mom and your dad did, and either you're gonna do the same thing or you're gonna do the opposite. You're not gonna learn. You're not gonna learn anything new because you already know You think you already know. Okay. Yeah, you think you already know. And you done?
So, but during this time, your first and your second wedding, were your parents still married?
Yes.
You were still married?
Yes.
Okay, so what about your second husband? He has a parents that your
His
dad.
father was alive.
Oh, okay, but the mom was passed.
No, his mother was alive. Yeah, his mother was alive, but his papa wasn't.
Okay, okay. So that's understandable. So, but like you left something from your first marriage, right?
Right.
And the second marriage was a bit perfect. And your issue started when you guys tried to get, when he wanted a child.
Well, that was in the back of his head that he wanted a child. I didn't find out that he wanted a child until we had separated. And
Oh, so you guys didn't have no communication?
yeah, I told him I told him in the beginning that I was not going to have any more children. I was past 35. I don't want to have any more children. My child was 10 or 11. I wasn't allowed to have any more. And I told him that on set, so we'll know if you want any more kids, you're going to have to go to your federal because I'm not having. So he signed on.
Okay.
But then I guess, I don't know. Is he going to play you the?
So was there any sign of him, having a size?
There were signs. I don't have proof.
So you always suspect of him having a.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a gas card, and there's no way that you can spend $350 on gas back then, as you said.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what was going on, and maybe the distance or whatever was there, but I'm just like very spiritual, and I could just feel that something was wrong.
Because you get too busy with work and
I was.
you get busy with work. So who was more of the financially stable? You. So it's like it's been your first marriage. Who was more financially stable? You
was.
Who was? And the second one, you. Yeah. Okay. So that means you did more of the man, stuff together. Okay. So he was more free than you.
Yeah. Well, and two, what got me from the first and second, we had bought a house, picked a lot, bricks, everything for the house. First marriage. And I had to leave my house. And that was the one thing that I stayed because I did not want to leave my house. So going into the second marriage, nobody's going to ever make me leave nothing. So I'm going to be in control. I'm going to make sure that I take care of this. And if he should leave, if something should happen, he's going to have to leave. Because I'll never walk out another obstacle. So if you want to say the control part, that was a factor of the control. Because I was still carrying that baggage from the first marriage when I...
So you were not healed from the first one fully?
Who knew about healing me, man? Who knew about healing? Nobody healed.
No.
Nobody knew about healing. It's just, I'm getting married.
That was it?
Yeah.
So the let go back there was just to get married. Everybody just wanted to get married.
I don't even believe they knew that they were not here. People don't, I feel that people don't just get married and then that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to stay married to death you part. You got to go through some issues. But the one thing of it is, if you didn't see anybody else go through the issues and stay, or the issues that they went through, they were traumatic and there was something that you were not going to stay with. You have to find that, I guess you could say you have to find your own niche. You really do. Because if you look at the example of how your parents were married, yeah, they may look perfect on paper, but they had issues. And they may not have talked about it or video day in front of the children or whatever, but they had issues. Yeah.
But they always try to find a way to.
Yeah. Like my mom and dad had issues. You know, they kind of stayed together for the kids.
So you're both us on the first and the second one. Okay, we there. The first one was a caliph we knew, right? Right. Which was America, a black or white.
But the something about the bros. I'm sorry, I think they're dating. I love people in general, but you know, back then, interracial marriages of children didn't sit well with people. You did fit in with the white community, you didn't fit in the black community. So I didn't want to do that to my child, so I never had any interest in outside my race.
So the second one also was black.
Yes.
Okay. So was it from the same place?
He was from Shreveport. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was from Shreveport too.
Okay. So this second one, let's. So this second, what was the time you guys decided to be like, oh, this is what we've done. We can't do this no more. Who brought the idea? I can't continue no more. I want to move on.
I did.
Yeah. The first one you did.
No, the first one, I hate to. We were not in a good place. So we were not in a good place. And
So the first one you did, and the second one also you were like, oh, I can't do this no more.
right.
Okay. So
Because I felt like that there was signs that, and the first one too. I felt like there was signs, but he promised he didn't mess around me over there.
So, but did they try to apologize, beg you, talk you into staying? Did they? Was there any way they tried to do that?
Not that I remember.
So none of them tried to, talk you to stay, beg you, just to make sure the marriage works. That's so.
Well, with the second one, we tried. Okay, we tried on our side or whatever after the divorce or whatever. We tried.
Not before the divorce, because after the divorce it's over, it's over.
Real no, not necessarily. we talked and he got involved with somebody and the girl was prayed with, so that was over with that one. So he did have a son. He did have a son.
After your divorce.
Yeah, not right after, but I'm just saying. Yeah, he had a son.
So that means though, the reason why that means your side were right then, because if you already was trying to have a son but he didn't tell you, and after your divorce he has a son Baytown, that means he was actually seeing somebody during.
Well, no, I don't think it was doing that. It wasn't right after, but I can't even think of how long it was before he had his son. Yeah.
So with people, do you think people are gonna see a lot? Because this is the second, we're talking about the second marriage. Do you think people are gonna see this issue as you the problem right here, or the man? What?
I had a lot of growth that I needed to do. I really did. I had childhood issues. I really did, that I didn't address.
So the childhood issue, was it from your parents or
Yes.
your neighborhood?
From my parents.
Okay. Well, the issue came from your parents.
Mm,
But you say your mom and dad were still married.
yes.
So
They were still married. But I never, my dad died when I was still married to the first. And I was 30. Daddy was 60. And I told him, I said, you go ahead and go on, because we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. So, back then people stayed married kind of for the sake of the kids or for convenience. And I don't know which one was doing what, but I never heard them argue. I would always hear mom saying something, and there was never a fight type thing. But I just needed to get that out of my head. What I know, they loved us, but we got stuff. We didn't grow up without anything. And did that show love? We thought it did. But it wasn't I never saw they were intimate, run up through a kiss or anything. I never saw that. So no, you don't have to have that perfect arrangement of parents that did the right thing. You have to choose. Me wanting to please them was my issue.
Oh, you're trying to please your parents.
Yes. I wanted to try to please my parents. Tommy, my dad was, I would talk to him one time and he would tell me, stay there and do this. And he would talk to him and, we try to work it out or whatever. It just didn't work. Yeah, it just didn't happen. So
how did you not move from the
Second marriage to the third one.
okay.
Nice. We come to it's a journey.
Yes.
This is a journey that we can't even start counting the years and the numbers. But we're just trying to. So how did we move from? Okay, now you were fed up, and the guy was, everybody was tired,
And
so nothing was working no more. So it'd be like, I need to move on with another life. This is not.
now, mind me, they were not close together. They were years and years apart. I didn't just get out of one and walk into another. It was some years apart before I, matter of fact, by the time my third marriage, I had grandbaby. Yeah.
So I forgot how many kids you have in Tahira?
One daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you didn't want no other kids.
No, I didn't want more. I wanted a boy, but I wanted, and see, there's another thing with me. I wanted the child, and then I wanted to have another one, but I didn't like him. But I wanted to have a child, and I wanted from all three to have the same last name. So, you just have.
Oh, you want all your kids to be white from what I found out.
Yeah. And I thought we could stay together. Yeah, I thought we could, but no.
Wow. Okay, so moving on to the second part of your journey. So how did you get to meet the third man? How did you begin?
So I had a friend, and she was like, single, I wasn't doing anything. She's like, I got a friend, I'll let you do me. I was like, oh, okay. So we talked on the phone for a little while, and then we finally met, and I felt fine. He was 11 years younger than me. So she didn't know I was my age. She didn't know. So we started talking, and I don't know. Here again, I was living in sin. Right? So here we go. We get married, and he had a daughter, and he didn't get a chance to see her at all. So there was no interaction with his child, but he was good for my child and my grandbaby. I guess I was working still, and he was working, but I was the breadwinner. I made more. In my mind, I felt like if I can make the money, then the man would love me. I just felt him. So I was driven to make money. And in your mindset, whatever kind of vibe you throw out, that's what you receive. You want a man to this or a man to that. You're going to meet those type of men. You're going to meet those type of men.
Okay, so you were trying to work so hard so that were you trying to work that hard so that the man can be loyal to you, or
No.
or you just want to be in a good position for yourself?
I want to be in a good position for myself.
Dang.
And matter of fact, we were able to start a business. We had a mobile locale business. And so the money was there, and it was, kind of being utilized. But here again, childhood issues.
From who? From you or from?
I believe I was okay. Still needed to grow. I won't say I still need to grow, but I don't know. Like his mom that has, and he had a relationship with his dad, but it was his dad and him born two different people. His dad was, I don't know, if he had one head, he had every head. He was clean everywhere he went, from head to toe. And that wasn't the life that like husband was used to. And he was a mechanic and he walked around like a mechanic. His self-esteem, I would say, wasn't there. So, I don't know, we pretty much stayed together maybe 7 years or so. I'm not
So during your time with your husband, were there good communication?
Oh yeah, it was good communication. We was friends, we laughed, we joked. So we had said we were time living in Shreveport. He said that I got free down in Texas. I can get a job in the mechanic shop, and I could bring XYZ home in a week, cash and a little, I'm like, okay. So I was assistant manager at the time, right? And I took a step down. I called a store out here and they said, yeah. I took a step down. So when I got here, that wasn't true. Like the amount he was saying wasn't true. We had a 12, and he had gotten me $1,200 a month apartment. So, but it was just a fight to try and stay above water. It was a fight. And so I eventually moved back up to assistant manager, and he was working in different garages or whatever. And then he started working at Walmart. And I believe, and his dad had passed shortly, and then so he was dealing with some drink and everything. But then he started working with Winnie.
So that was where the tried to bring you.
Yeah, he started working with him, and I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because I love you trying to figure out what's wrong, and I don't know if this is true for every man, but I could tell that there was another woman. I could tell. You move different.
When
Move different.
But we got a suspicion mark when it comes to.
No, not all the time. It's how you move. It's how you move. If you're gonna play the game, you need to play the game right. You can't act like you sorry for you get.
But it's suspicious. It's not an evidence of saying he's doing it. You suspect of somebody, but you don't have a proof. Means there's nothing right.
I trapped the phone
Okay.
because I knew something. I mean, I'm not the type of person that I'm going to always be trying to figure out what you're doing, who you're talking to. But when I feel that there's a disconnect, I'm going to look into it. As far as being intimate, now him being 11 years younger than me, there should be no reason for no mix.
So you already argued that.
It shouldn't be no reason for no mix-ups.
So before you continue, I want this line. Do you ever believe age matters when it comes to getting married or having a relationship?
Yeah. It just depends on where you are mentally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so that needs to be said. The suspicious was why you had your doubts, and So, but as I did that, come to an end. Was it the one that also?
I had a family reunion. It was like July 18th, and I said, I'm tired. I'm coming home. I didn't want to come home. I passed the apartment because I didn't feel love. It wasn't like love in the building, And like I say, as far as being intimate, I mean, if you're 11 years older than me, you ought to be strong all the time. And so that tells me that there was somebody.
Oh.
That was somebody else. So then I started investigating and tracking the phone. And that's when I said, okay, So I wasn't gonna continue to live like that. So I went on a vacation family and I came back and said, I'm not happy. I said, something happened here. And I said, you could stay in that bed because we had 2 bedrooms. I said, you could stay over there and I'll stay over there. And he said, no, I'm moving out 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
So tell me what's going on. He said, no, I'm moving out. Where is it? He had the opportunity to go over there across the side, the other side, and I stay on this side, and we could have worked it out. But he said, I'm leaving in 2 weeks.
That means you already have a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. But he regrets it. I mean, I hadn't talked to him in a little while. He said, if I might, he said he didn't fuck up, he fucked down.
Okay. So
He
because
really made love
because people, listening to your story right now, you think what part of who you think they're gonna judge? They're gonna think the issue was coming from you. God, I'm gonna leave this on the comment section or whatever. So, but do you think they're gonna judge you for?
They may judge me.
Okay.
They may judge me because I'm my own person, and I've been wearing, and I always say that I've been wearing the briefs and the panties for a long time, because I did that to myself. I picked the man or whatever, and right now I'm waiting. I'm praying, and I'm asking, I'm cleaning up those childhood things and seeing what's going on with me. And once you heal yourself, then you are open to love. I like love.
So did you ever try your third marriage? The man was also in America, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been having this kind of experience with different people from your race, and like, did you ever try dating a white
No.
man? So what about Africans?
No.
Why? No, wait, before that. Okay. What was your relationship? You say you have a relationship with God, right?
Yes.
So during your first marriage, you had a relationship with God.
Yes.
Your second marriage, you had a relationship with God. Yes. Okay, so what role did your Christian life plays in all your marriage?
So I'll tell you this. I had a relationship. I was considered to be a Christian, but I didn't have a real relationship.
With that.
I knew what I was taught, but through the marriages, I had to lean them in because I had a child to raise, and the child didn't ask bigger, so that strengthened my faith. We never went on welfare. We never at the food stamps, whatever. So I had to work. I had to be determined to make sure that she had anything that she wanted. So it grew my faith. And sometimes people say they're a Christian, but it's just by name. It's not by the experience. It's not. I tell people that on application, they show you a Christian. I don't really say I'm a Christian. I say I got strong relationships.
Okay.
Yeah, I got strong relationships. We talk all the time. Yeah. That's just my, that's like my best grade. Like, we talk all the time. The things that I go through, I ask before I do. So had I had this relationship that I have now, back then, me and my first husband told now. Like, we raised the grandkids together, me, his wife, we all were friends because we both were grown up. We both would come to know the things that we were taught as far as God and, what you're supposed to do or whatever. We both wrong. So I would say your relationship with God is paramount.
So I want to learn from all your journey so far with your marriages, your life in general, putting work together and adding your family and other stuff. So far, what has been your biggest lesson?
It's okay to be me.
It's okay for you to be yourself.
Yes. I went so many years making other people happy.
So right now you say you're still waiting for the right man to come, right? So why do you still consider your first husband as a choice for you?
No, he's married. He's married.
Oh, okay. So it's
If he wasn't married, I don't know. I don't foresee that.
so. Do you ever wish he wasn't married?
No, I don't. I know that me and my daughter talk about it sometimes. We get along fine. We talk and we laugh. And shoot, we would have been married 40 something years. And sometimes I think about that. But I'm happy that he's happy. And he's got a beautiful wife that I love her dear. You know, if he had this way, he'd have all both of us, you know, in the house.
So, well, you guys are like,
We're close. We're very close. And my relationship with him is nothing intimate. He's my kids, he's my grandkids, grandfather, and he's my friend. And if we had that friendship back then, maybe we would have stayed.
no, but I guess on my opinion, guys, don't take my words. Yeah. On my opinion, I guess if you guys were patient enough, it would have. Because sometimes I think patience is one of the key. It is. To so many things. You know, you guys can give yourself time, you know, go up. But I believe as time goes on, you realize your mistake, you're wrong, you're right. I think it might would have.
And finances were an issue on the first one too, because like I say, I wasn't working. I had a couple summer and I was getting a check when I wasn't working anymore. So I think the three things that you really have to have in a relationship is a good relationship with God, one. You're gonna have to have a good sex life, for two. And you're gonna have to have good finances.
Okay. So talking about other good relationship with God. Some people see it as you going to church every Sunday or every day. Is that the way to have a good relationship with God?
That's the fake. That's fake. That doesn't determine. A lot of people sitting in church right now and just don't go there. You know, you really have to have that relationship with Him, knowing and trusting that no matter what, He's got your back.
Okay, so it should be between you and God, not between you and church.
Right. Okay. I don't want to say, it's supposed to go to church. I don't. As I love going to church. But I don't make it, I got to go to church or I'm going to Him type thing. When I want to go to church, I go. I look at it on YouTube and different things like that. But I journal every morning. I talk to God. I pray in my journal. And I don't know. God has opened up so many doors. Just I've learned to be alone and not be lonely. Before, I felt like I had to have me. So then you go and pick the wrong stuff. I thought I needed to have one to get over the other. So in between those marriages, there were other men. Yeah. Because I felt like I needed that man to get over another one. Yes. And I've been, oh wow. Yeah, it's been a minute. You in a like a serious relationship. Because I had to learn to love me. I had to learn to love me. And by learning to love me, I learned to love God. And God showed me the love He showed me how to love myself. And because when I grew up, I was the middle child. So I think that middle child syndrome, I had to be like.
So do you think people going to see, you say you're 61?
I'll be 63 next month.
Do you think people going to see you like 63? Because at 63, you still look perfectly young. And how do you keep up with it? How do you keep up with your age and I don't think people gonna believe, oh, she's 62. Wow.
I'll be 63.
In my family, that's how it is. I mean, my grandfather was 92 and he didn't have any wrinkles in his face. Wow. And then the idea is you take care of yourself. That's because you gotta love yourself. I think a lot of people get into relationship, marriage, let stuff go. I got mine. No, you shouldn't be dead. Well, I got mine, and let yourself go. Because you, in a relationship or even in a marriage, you still want that spice. You don't want to come home every day and she got rag on her head. Or he coming, he's sitting on the couch with his beer and watching whatever. And then at some point you have to know what's there. You still have to date each other. You can't say, well, I got her, so she just, oh, I got her, so he just, no, you have to continue to date. And so that's the one thing I had to learn in one of my relationships was I love me. So if I love you, I'm going to take care of me.
It's interesting. So, like I was asking before, have you ever think of, dating outside your race? Okay, let's say you don't, like you say, let's say you don't prefer having a white man. So, have you considered like Jamaica, Africans, AD?
I don't.
Do you care to know?
Can I be honest?
Okay.
So, being pretty much sheltered, we only saw black and white when I grew up, right? We wasn't exposed to any other nationality. So, when I moved here, and then I haven't really had an Hispanic person come up to me, whatever, but I've had Africans connect to me. So, I was talking to another girl and said, I feel like I heard so many horror stories.
About who?
About
Africans?
Yeah. Coming over there.
What part of Africa? Nigeria?
I don't know. Okay. Just to get your papers.
Oh my God.
You got a wife over there, yeah, auntie over there, and then you get them to come over here. Then you divorce me, or then you kill me.
There's something. Just gotta say, you're talking about Nigerians, huh?
I don't know which one, but so that made me. I mean, and I was talking to a girl that is, I don't know what to say, but she's African, and she was like, "Don't." I said, and when I hear him talking, I won't, cause you're not gonna get your papers on me. I'm not. So that I mean, I don't know if that true would happen, whatever, but I tend to. I haven't had any African person to approach me that I even thought be interested in, and it could have been because of the vibe I was from.
Yeah, but I guess if I may, I guess that's why these days people take words robbery. Sometimes people say things that they really don't know much about,
Right.
Because they're judging people in general.
Yes.
Can I say the whole world is everybody's wicked? Can I say
You can.
exactly? So
You can't say that.
So I mean, the people say they judge, like, especially when people. I know when people tell you about Africans, don't get me wrong, guys. Kids, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I know they're talking about Nigerians because
Don't do that. Don't do that.
no, it's true because if any African country in this world doing anything wrong, the number one people they're looking after, Nigerian.
I didn't know it was.
So if somebody's telling you about that kind of stuff, it's just Africa is trying to talk about Nigeria. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about Nigeria.
Yeah, pay your food, $10,000 and get over here. And immigration.
We're
I can't do that.
not here to talk about. We're not here to talk. I'm here to talk about why you didn't go try, or why your spirit have not led you to this. Because African idea night. It's like, have you ever tried to do your research about African history?
No.
As like people saying, oh, they have wife back in the day, back in their homes. Oh, they just want to come here, get whatever they want, and they're gonna. That's a lie. Some people came to be traveled just to study. At the end of the day, they find their wife and they want to send them out. You understand? So somebody who came to the Western world just to study and decide, oh, I want to be this place. Does that mean he has a wife?
I don't know.
So let's do logistics. Never think outside the box. Let's just think outside the box. Do you think somebody just who came to study, and because you can travel to New York today, and you be like, oh, I love New York. I want to stay in New York. So does that mean because you travel to New York and you love New York, means somebody who doesn't know you is gonna say you have kids, husband back in Texas or whatever place without even knowing you? And someone
No, you would have. That's why I say I haven't met a man of African descent that I thought I was interested in, basically, because I don't know that I could that what you're looking for type thing. I've never really had a conversation, with them or whatever. And as I go older, conversation is a thing. And I'm not trying to, because I am older, I am not trying to get somebody who's trying to get there. I mean, we can get there together, but I'm not trying to get anybody who over your studying is past that now. So when that was going on, I mean, that was the norm. So I don't know how I can, all I can do is be open to see if that will work. But it's really not a race thing.
So I think people should really tell me kindly for having this kind of conversation to help people like this, because if we don't have conversation like this, people really, they're not gonna know. They're still gonna be having the mindset, because I talked to a couple of people, Americans, they be like, oh, Africans say this. Oh, I heard stories about Africans, they kidnap, they kill. Oh no, people are not living should I say, not even 90s or years like 00 years ago. Yeah, there's a lot of social media and you can do your research.
To Kenya.
Go check. There are beautiful places in Africa.
I know. I know there are beautiful places, and it's just as we were talking earlier, Americanized women. When the African women come over here, they get Americanized, and so when they say that makes me think that there's some type of control on the African side, that the man controls the woman. And I tend not to be in a relationship where there's a control.
Okay.
I think that it's an equal share.
So I really do not want to have a long episode of of a podcast today, but I think with the way it might be a long podcast, but look, I want to educate people right now. African men don't control. They want to lead. The same way you say you're looking for somebody to lead you. So Africans believe, I want to be the man. Yes, they want to take responsibility. That's why they carry, like, if you let me be specific with the Igbo community. I'm not from Igbo, I'm not Yoruba, but let me be specific with the Igbo community. I'm not here to promote no tradition or whatever, but an Igbo man is ready to take care of a wife to a level that the wife is okay. She's living good. Even he doesn't want the wife to go to work. Just be at home. Just make sure you take care of the kids. give me food to eat, let me go and work. So, does that mean this man is controlling you?
It just depends. Because if he don't want her to work, so you have to look at it. If he don't want her to work, what does she have to fall back on if he walk out the door?
That's why it's not falling out the door. It's not leaving because he wants to be the man. He wants you to be the queen of the house. Okay, have you seen a king who wants the wife to go and work?
No. But then again, when you say, how much is he making? How much is he providing? Right now, a two-family income is like paramount. Like, he would have to be bringing in money. Why would I let your struggle coming from if you and I got married and I make the money that I make and you make the money that you make, we can make some things happen. But if you make just enough and we gotta struggle and you're stressed all the time because right now we're cutting back on hours and we gotta figure out how we're gonna pay the rent, mortgage, or whatever, how we gonna this, then, but I'm sitting at home every day.
Yeah, that's why the African men are smart.
Oh.
That's why they're smart. They work. They are not the type who rely on just a point.
The income that,
You understand? They're already in points 1, thinking of points B.
yeah.
It's like having a backup plan.
Yeah, but that should be every man. It should be every person.
Yeah, but that's why when people talk about Africans, no, these people, be smart is already on the blood.
Yeah, I think what messed it up is television. I don't remember you may not either because you're probably not old enough, but it was a guy he was a Jamaican guy. He had, I don't know how many jobs. You had so many jobs, just stuff he's out. When did he have time for family? If he had all those jobs, when he had time for family? So, you'd have to look at the situation. I don't think every situation has a blueprint that everybody has to follow. I think that if you and I were to be in a relationship or were to be married, it's not a blueprint. It's what we make it. And that's what causes a lot of divorce. You have your blueprint, I got my blueprint. And they don't match. They don't match at all. So you're saying what coming from an African descent would do. I say coming from American descent. And I choose to not live, guys, struggling. And see, you come home every day struggling, but you making it happen. So I would feel bad by you just working all the time and I'm at home because of how I was raised. Because, and then what would be the time that we spend together? Then you come in the door, you tired. Yeah, I had the food cool. But what are you going to do? You going to go to sleep?